The GMODIST. More GMODism.
Well, hello, this is your host Eric here. We are just going to jump into the GMODIST little extra channel. We're going to do a little hot take here. And on this little hot take, I just had this idea. You know, when we have like missile launchers IRL, they kind of look a bit like this, but a bit neater. And there are like some cool covers and stuff for different missile launchers. So I basically wanted to make a little like deco pack with some decorations for the files for the CEOs, which I, basically make a couple of nice skins or prefab things to put on top of these to make some kind of, I don't know, hatches, some missile pods, missile pod looking things. So I want to have like a single little pod thing for aircraft things, like basically a tube to have missiles inside. I would like to have a set of like 4 tubes. So we kind of have, like for these small ones. And I would like to have a nicer skin for this that actually includes some armor as well. I think that would be pretty nice. It's hard to predict how big they need to be, but I'm thinking making them like 2 meters long. That's kind of the minimal size, I guess it is, but we could make them of course larger too. So basically I'm thinking that these ones with like ray launchers, they're gonna be unarmored, and the like box launchers here, they're gonna be armored because they have significantly more health and stuff. And this thing is going to be armored as well, of course. So this variant, I'm actually wanting to make a thing that looks like this thing. I think we actually can begin with that. So this is like hollow, right? So what if we take like our primary color, we put this down as a deco. So this is kind of what I'm thinking here. What if we switch this to metal material, wherever that is? It's like I always find iron material, but that's wrong. And then let's see here, up down scaling should be 2, and left right should be 2. Right, and then we can basically make this like fit over it, right? Yeah. I kind of like this. So this we can have as like a simple prefab to put up a box pattern like this. I'm not sure if we want to make this not only like a box pattern, but like what if we also made it a, what is it? Not only make it a box pattern, but kind of make it a circle with 4 things in, because that I actually want to do for the small one. I want to make it like a circle with hollow parts, kind of. That would be pretty neat. Oh, now I'm just... It's a bit annoying that you kind of lock onto them when you click on them like that. It's gonna be 1. It's like put a little higher than it should be, because then when we're exact with these values, they are gonna cover over that, right? This is probably gonna be 0. Like a third, right? Isn't it? I think it is, but I looks like the forward back scaling, it's like it doesn't cover it. I don't know why, that's weird. That's pretty weird. Forward back positioning. Yeah, this is probably gonna be 0, right? So this block is most likely then not quite. If we put this thing at this value and we just copy all, we can clearly see it when we paste it here. They are fitting together very neatly. If we switch color, you can see we got a slight little overlap there. That's kind of not optimal. I think we should have remove that issue. Just gonna make the cover margin a bit smaller. Like add in 0 for the forward backscaling. Yeah, then the glitch border is invisible, kinda. Either we can make this a squircle, or we should leave it as is, so we can basically use this to cover big areas. If we have like a big launcher that's like not 4 but like 9 or something. Yeah, the hot take is basically I'm sitting here and thinking loud, basically. Well, we're gonna think a little bit on that. Right now, I think we rather want to look at these guys. The aero hatch. I thought that this could be integrated in some type of way, making some applique armor or all around it, perhaps. But I want them to be like segmented, so we can only spawn like one section. But that might cause some issues then later. Yeah. If we're gonna do an aero like front like this, these are decently aerodynamic, right? They have a drag which is reduced. What about this thing? The 0.5 drag is actually lower forwards direction. It doesn't really matter too much exactly how they look like, since they are going to be underneath, right? But I don't want different patterns like for each of them, so this is a bit annoying. If we make this aero hatch, we can make a pretty well armored sleek missile like this, thanks to the aerodynamic hatch having limited drag too. But yeah, maybe we should look at the drag here. Wait, what? Drag of different components. How is this drag so bad? Is it perhaps not possible to see on a platform, really? Because this is the direction of the platform. Okay, that racket is limited. Oh, right. We're just in the wrong direction, basically. If we remove these blocks here. We don't need to check drags for the... We don't need to check the drag of the other ones anyways. This is gonna be the low drag variant, if we indeed decide to make it, because I'm a bit unsure if I think that is a good idea right now. Right. View the drag here. It's like very high. Why is it so high drag still? Weird. Well, and if I go in here and get some appliques, like if we add this there, this drag should be pretty low, right? And it kinda isn't. Yeah, I don't get this. I don't get this. Making this aero hatch is gonna be pretty challenging, and I don't see a use case for it right now, so we're actually just gonna skip that one. Good to know. The simplest thing is actually just make a simple tube. We have some different candidates to make this tube, actually. It's like it's not that straightforward, to be honest. We can use something like this, which has a bit of meat around it, the heavy one. We have a pure barrel like this, but then we have mimics too. We have a hollow tube. So if we just extend this a bit and basically do some different tests, we can add a new decoration, which is like tube. So we have, oh, that's the... I'm gonna need to switch the views here, because now we obviously don't see what we want to look at. Okay, we're just gonna remove. This is a bit funny. You can see we have a tube 16 here, and then we have the tube. This has so many more like facets. It's much more round. And this is gonna be super clear if we were like, whoops, not positioning, I mean scaling. If we like scale up this thing, so it's like super big, it's gonna be noticeable if we used, for example, the tube 16 here. Now, they are different, like, I don't know why they're turned different ways, it's really weird. But anyways, what I wanted to say is basically that having a lot of things to render, like if we have a lot of surfaces on things, things can lag a bit. So when we are, for example, using the Mimic tube, we add a lot more polygons to the game, basically. And this is kind of the reason why cram cannons tend to lag a little bit, because each of these are like a lot of polygons, and then you have like thousands of them. So I'm thinking for this scale, we're not going to notice or see it anyways, so we better use the Mimic 16 instead of the other tube there. Well, this is one option. And this is another option. I can add it on top of here so you can see like the difference. Maybe we should just separate them a little bit here for our testing purposes. And then we have this tube here. There are some more tubes we could use as well, but I guess these are my to-go tubes. And this is like so much thicker, and this is so much thinner, and this is like the thickest of them all. Yeah. So if we're gonna select the tube here, we can see basically how small we can scale them down to still fit a missile of this size. Kinda something like this, right? We're just gonna wing it a bit, trying to make a reasonable fit so we can kind of compare them. By the way, the same settings is probably to be applied for this thing. Feels like I almost should have installed some type of... there are like some mods which simplify your work with mimics or decos a lot. I don't really use those mods. I tried to use them, but I didn't think they made things too much more simple, to be honest. But I think I may not have learned it really properly, so that may be the reason. Yeah, I'm a bit conflicted here. We have different tubes. They all look pretty neat, to be honest. This thin tube, honestly, I think it looks a bit too thin. And this kind of looks a bit too thick, and it looks a bit weird with those extra layers there. So I'm thinking that like a cram barrel is probably the most reasonable tube we should have for something like this. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with that. Good to know. Anyways, something I definitely wanted to try out as well is just to compare the other barrels here, because we may need a tube with a thicker cross section, like this thing, for example, when we want to fill up the edges a little bit. Yeah, we'll see. I think that's gonna look a bit too asymmetrical. As for this can be real cool. This can be real cool, actually. We're gonna test that out. This is definitely a nice tube to have as the outer layer. Look at that. You can hide the original. You can see it looks awesome, but it doesn't look like a missile. Yeah. Maybe for torpedoes, I don't know. It more looked like a part of the missile, to be honest. Yeah, it has to be thought about a little bit more before we do anything like that. Are these also shaped like that? They are. And this thing, the fattest tube of them all. Yeah, basically, we got some ideas there. But I think we are going to just do like this. Remove some blocks. Wait, where are you attached, I wonder? Oh well. Delete all untethered. Very nice. So, we're gonna use this tube here. We're gonna make it a single like module for each section. In that way we can have different colors on each of the sections. Also, to not make it look like a piece of cram cannon, it's always a good idea to overwrite the material. So this is gonna be pretty light. I kind of like the look of metal for this, but I feel that a plick or alloy may make more sense. I think probably this is gonna be pretty light and small system, so it might be weird with metal. Yeah, it's probably more reasonable that the default look will probably be... yeah, it probably would be alloy. Probably. I think I found the right values here. Something like this. It's gonna go over it exactly. Gonna look pretty decent, I think. Now, we definitely want some type of like connection point or something. So we are going to put this down here so that towards the area where you have the gantry, I'm thinking we're gonna have this like solid or segmented little block. I'm not actually sure which we're gonna go with here. I'm gonna scale it down so it doesn't overlap anything here. It's probably exactly right. A little bit more down. Yeah. A little bit more. Something like that. Oh my. Anyways, if we check hide original mesh, it kind of looks a bit unaerodynamic. I think it may be better to have like a smaller connection point like this instead. Yeah, I think that's gonna be better. But maybe just make it a little bit broader like that and make them be set to hide the original mesh. Then we can just add this on top of each of the parts and that's gonna look pretty nice, I think. So like if we mimic this and just paste these mimics, you can see they are attached and overlapping just like that. And you know what? Whoops. Look at this. What if we do like this even? We can take like a tiny little circle. So if we go with the alloy little circle, we can possibly make it like a silver tiny hard point. That could be pretty cool. Or perhaps it should be black, I don't know. Maybe we can set everything to the same color because it's pretty small details. Yeah, I think it looks better like this. Yeah, that it will be. All right, so test. Here you can see we just put it here, here and here. And if we go in there, we can set all to gold for effect. And then we have like a nice little missile. Yeah, that looks neat. I like that. So now that we have that as some type of a foundation, we should basically do the same for this thing. Now, we shouldn't of course copy all of these, we should just copy the tube here. So if we find this is the, yeah, this is the barrel. So we can copy this decoration and then just basically add this decoration. Now we're gonna be a little bit smart here. Add decoration and paste. And then we'll have to fine-tune it a little bit to make it overlap like this. And I'm hoping we only need to set up one. So I'm guessing here it's trying to be 0.25. The rest of the values should be set up already as they should be. They should be fine, I think. Like if we add another area here, yeah, exactly. Good. So if I take this thing here and I copy this and I turn it, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Look at that, that looks kind of nice. So as for connection points, we need a neat way to connect up all of them without it looking weird in any way. Easiest would be maybe if we made the things melt together in some way. But the coolest thing, what if we like go to the R section? It's kind of angled. I don't like that. I would have wanted to use this plus shape otherwise to kind of lock them together. That could look cool. Maybe not too serious, but this looks pretty fun. Look at that. Have them in a box like this. Yeah, I'm thinking perhaps this block, we could make a connection for the ones on top, but they're so close to the surface, are they not? Kinda are. If we just add some example block there, they're just so close. It's probably more reasonable if there is some type of connection strut or something in the middle here. That's... Okay, I have a new idea. What if we, instead of an X, try to use this type of pattern? Not roll that way. It's always so hard to predict wherever they want to go. Is it pitch? Well, apparently. Something like this. 45. And we could scale it maybe to some reasonable size. It looks like shit. It just... I thought it would look good in my mind. It doesn't. Not that angle. Not even quite this angle either. If we make it super tiny, that feels pretty useless. Yeah, okay, no. I'm trying so many things. I have so hard time to find something that works. I think I'll need to think more simple, actually. I think I found it. Just a simple block. Going down like this. It's excellent with a width that just covers first facet here. Something like that. That looks like it's sturdy. Can be pretty thick too if we want to make it sturdy, but I think this is probably good enough. Now I'm a little bit unsure if it's gonna be that type of scale or not. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna copy a mimicked version over there so that we can just try a little bit for this block with modifying this block to make a like short little connection like that. And that looks much lighter and neater. This looks maybe a bit too blocky. It's almost like we would like to have another color for this, like some gold or silver or something like that, to make to like sell the point of connection point a bit more. Yeah, I think actually we're going to scale this so that it may be just a little bit thicker. I'm starting to wonder, maybe... No, it's not going to be round. Maybe we're going to make it round anyway. Well, after a closer bit of thinking, I realized this thing is going to look real flimsy when you stack them up. And making a round thing just makes it look janky. So actually, I think this looks better. When you stack them up like that, this one is definitely the winner. So we are gonna have that as a system indeed. Or a little thing to spawn. I think the connection point is not needed down here like for this one, because it won't really be visible and it will look weird when you stack them up. When you have this, it makes sense, and of course this long is gonna be rare, like 3 units or 4, that looks decent. And if we don't want them, we can always like remove them afterwards. That's kind of easier than to, well, put them there after the fact. It's easier to just remove them afterwards than to put them there if you want them. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, I think that will be absolutely excellent. As for this, we're gonna make, as I said, we're gonna make this tight fit in a way. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this, we're gonna overlay the block on itself, but we're gonna change this to well, the alloy material, I guess. Then we're gonna go in here and add a new decoration. And we're gonna paste the tube we made. And yeah, hide original mesh we want, because otherwise we see the inside of the missile tubes, which would be cool if we could make them another color without using individual tubes for each of them. But I feel that's a bit too much deco for me. Deco do contribute to lag a little bit, so, you know. I'm gonna do a little empirical testing, by the way, about that. How much it actually contributes to lag. Well, in any case, left right scaling, up down positioning. This should be 0. We can zero in it on this one, I believe. Because on this, the missile, they're a little bit more spread out. Oh, look at that. It's kinda clipping the edges here. I think we'll need to do some weird type of rotation to make it work. Maybe like, I don't know, perhaps like this or something? Now this is a bit annoying. You can see here, even though we tilted it like this, it kind of sticks out on the sides. And it squishes the tubes there, so it doesn't look quite nice. And if we drag it out like this, we have some empty spaces here. It's like we need an even thicker tube. But if we add like an even thicker tube, I'm very skeptical that this will work. Like, if we use a, let's see here, if we can find heavy barrel. Oh, that's the APS parts. Motor driven barrel. Will we have to resort to these? Maybe. Well, I looked around here at the different barrels, but I don't see how we can pull this off too easily. I'm actually thinking that if we're using there was the heavy barrel there. If we're using this, we may need to actually fill out the area somehow after the fact. So that will increase the mimics, and I want to look for a block so we can fill out this little space here, but without using 4 different blocks would be nice. While making this, I also realized we probably should have these armored, right? Because we said that. We can of course hide some of the applique armor with just hiding them with mimics. But right now I'm experimenting with some different patterns where we basically can use it. So I think this looks a bit too thick on the sides. So maybe a circle design would be better for this. Maybe if we add the appliques like this, we would have some armor at least, but well, can be thought about. This type of missile system, I feel perhaps you should have more than just applique panels. Could be reasonable actually to armor these up with heavy armor, so I need to do some thinking basically. I kind of realized we made the tubes too narrow, because the missile fins are kind of clipping through a bit. And I don't like that, so I'll need to resize them a little bit to make them a bit larger. As for the medium one, I've already started on reshaping and like resizing it for it. And naturally, this is where I detected, how are the fins gonna fit? Well, it completely changes how we make this design too. I rescale these tubes and now it looks not flimsy at all with having a central little connection point there. So we're gonna go for that with these ones. So I ended up making the connection for the base is like the fleet color main. And then we have a fleet color detail, and then we have like fleet color secondary for the tube. When I try to make this on the medium one, you can see it's like, yeah, it's too thick. So we're gonna switch to the, what was it? I don't know what it was called. Let's just tube. Yes, Mimic Tube 16. We're gonna go with this one instead. And resize it to a reasonable scale instead. Alright. So we're basically going to make them... So, of course, you can have missile decos and then they can be a lot larger. So we have that. But if we basically make them just... If we make the top one just cover this, not let anything stick through with a little bit of margin. It's going to be 45 like that. We can set this one to the same. And if we rescale it back to 1, looks like this. I think that's a-okay. Working pretty well. And this one, of course, we can thus remove. Having this little round thing here being the fleet detail color. Yeah, that should work, I think. Maybe a little bit larger. So I decided I really want them round and or at least squircly, and there is a block we can do that with. Fortunately, it may, yeah, well, we're gonna look at that, but I want them armored as well. So to not add too much weight, the default one is gonna be a plick, but it's gonna be real easy to change it because I'm gonna make it so that they are basically hidden. Yeah, so if we do like this and add a decoration, there is a pole. I think it's called pole, and it's gonna be a half pole. Mimic pole half. That's it. And there even is mimic pole. Yeah, there are so many different poles here. It's crazy. I'll need to hide this to even be able to take a look at them all. Yeah, I kind of forgot about this thing. There is something that's not called a tube, but instead of tube, it is called hollow pole. So, yeah. It's too much. And negative quarters, and there is like, it's like all the poles. Well, in any case, half pole it's gonna be. And I'm guessing if we... How much is gonna be? If it's gonna be half of its height, right? If we half the height, it should make a circle. Isn't that so? I'm not very... It kind of look... Oh, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, well, it gets circle-y, but mathematically it's of course completely off. The issue is, of course, it's getting skewed. So I'm wondering, I don't remember what type of math we'll need to apply to make this work. But if we like scale them in weird ways, there should be some weird equilibrium thing, I think. Let's see, what directions? Okay, so left and down. It's okay. So left and down. Right? And then we can just remove this thing because I want to switch between them easily, right? So I want them on the same place just to find whatever setting looks the most circle-y-ish. It's... There has to... Annoying. I obviously have to spawn a real circle as a reference to guess the number. It's probably something in the rule of thirds. No, it's maybe something with pi. I don't know. So now we have some reference poles here to guess how we could possibly make this. And the easy answer is that it's going to be impossible. Surprise, surprise. I'm starting to consider squircling it anyways. Well, I'm gonna play around with these and see if there is a number we can use. I don't know if anyone has already been raging about this in the comment section, but I just realized that because we are skewing these, it's mathematically impossible to make these circles. So yeah, now I'll either need to resort to squircles, and I don't want to do that. Just to confirm, I'm gonna see if we have any luck with the hollow pole. Well, the game obviously wants us to do a lot of jank and use a lot of blocks then, I guess, because I completely give up using it with like as few blocks as possible. I'm just gonna take this. We're gonna have alloy material, and there is one way. There is a thing I'm gonna try. There is a mimic block here, which is called like 2 sides. So it has very few polygons, 2 to be exact. Well, there is actually maybe not really. I thought there was one with 2 sides, but there is the triangles. We could use these, but now I feel it's a bit too complex. We're just gonna do like this then. We're just gonna take a nice little alloy block and try to fit it inside of here to make it eat up the space, if possible. So, hopefully. Whoa. Oh no. Well, the wedge, we still have a chance. All right, here comes the wedge. This has to work, right? It must work. Yes, yes. There is no way this won't work. Yeah. With a good margin. This is it. This is it. That looks nice. So to not have any clipping, we can make sure... Ooh, this is gonna be in center. Never mind. Well, very beautiful. And hide original mesh. Thank you very much. Finally. Now I'm just gonna take this and put on the other sides. And... what? The top and bottom ones are different. Why? Well, obviously I can fix that, but it's just confusing. Apparently, my tube wasn't exactly symmetrical. That's why. I was so worried this wouldn't work after all, but, well, of course it does. Alright. Finally, we have it. Beautiful. I'm happy. That looks nice. I always wanted something like that. Alright. So we have made some adjustments here, so they all look neat and nice. And I have fixed these ones. These are basically the same as the medium ones, but they are, well, for large and huge as well. So we have this kind of light tube carry-on missile like that. I added an extra detail for the huge one because, well, they're so huge. Now, I thought a lot about how to complete this type of system, and I finally found how I want to do it. I don't want a circle missile tube anymore. I have instead opted for this. As you can see, we're gonna make a squircle, or a rounded corner, as it is indeed usually called. So what we basically can do here is I'm gonna be lazy and use a Plix and just slap on a metal material on them and hide them. Excellent. So the really cool thing with using this block is that we can then hide 3 meter long, armor, heavy armor squares, square corners, I mean, because they are pretty light and pretty small. Oh, that looks awesome. I like that. And then we can basically copy this over, and it looks like it's just metal or something like that, but they are protected by some heavy armor on the side, which is nice. And then we don't need to replace the armor or anything. We can just use this, and it looks so sleek into, like, imagine having mechs with these as like, like the Mad Cat, if you're familiar with Mech Warrior. It's called, what is it more called? It's called Wolf something too, originally, but I got into Mech Warrior 4 more, so then it's the Mad Cat. And it has like these missile launchers as would be ears then. Well, I think this is a pretty nice little setup. I'm happy with this. So I'm going to go ahead and save this down, and we should also say this. Big thanks to the commissioned officers in the Army of GMODISM, Commander Awesome, Commander Ben Wilkie, Captain Awesome Pupper, Commander Delphin, Lieutenants Ali, Anto Cravey, Flars Dagon, Daniel Zaikin, and Parba Guid, Vincent Veritas, Rick Prell, and Scooby Rocks. And for you commissioned officers, naturally you will be able to access this when I've added them and uploaded them to the commissioned officers files. And if you don't know how to get them, there are tutorials on the GMODISM channel. Well, I wonder what we should call these. Put your suggestion in the comment section if you would like to do that. I feel this has more detail. This is, well, it's so tight to the floor. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Now, it is a bit, I don't know. If we put this tight to a hull, just to see how it looks, that would be fine. That would look fine. Yeah, good to know. This one has just one block of these appliques around it, so it's somewhat armored. Not much, but, you know, better than nothing, I suppose. By the way, what's the health? They have the same. They have the same health. You know what? In that case, we might as well have them. We might as well have this variant, because then the first, like, they will be a little bit more aerodynamic, right? And the angle of impact would probably be better. Well, I guess we shouldn't drag on too much. We know how it will look like, and I'll save them down and put them in the prefabs, of course. And the prefabs will be right here. And in the prefabs, missile, inside the missile area, I'll put them somewhere here. Find out some good name for it, and that will be nice. Well, while I'll save that down, I will say big thanks for watching, and please like the video if you did enjoy it. Now, this is the GMODIST channel. If you for some reason don't know about the GMODISM channel, you probably want to check it out there, because there I have even more, the most of it, from the depth content. This is your host, your Admiral, Eric, and I'm signing out. I'll see you in future videos. Like the video.